What is up, everybody? FC Racers here.
Beautiful.
All right, how's it going, Troy?
It's going good. We've had some technical difficulties going on, but you and I are having some fun. We're enjoying what we can and getting ready for these races, and so much so that they started before we even really transitioned. So we have a race that is right on and going and being.
Yeah, so today we've got kicking off a fantastic day of racing here on the GSA leagues. It's going to be Neto versus Evansfight. As you can see, Neto already in sitting here, moving along ever so slightly. Um, so a quick breakdown here for those of you new or tuning in for the first time. We have 3 races running, and there is a best of that's going on, but it's not like the end all. Each race is going to be worth 1 point, and the winner of the set is going to receive an additional point. So we have 4 points in total up for grabs, but it is possible for the points to split to 3-1. We've had a few of those already. Yeah, we're going to be just sit back, grab yourself a cup of coffee or tea, whatever you prefer, and we're going to rock through this whole game here.
Yeah, I myself prefer water actually.
I do too, at least in the day during the day. What we're about to finish up City here now. If you're new again, like I said, City here, it's a very short chapter, pretty optimized. We've seen a little bit of movement mishaps here. Case in point, Neto here missing. Actually, Evansfight missing
Ooh,
too.
yeah, both of them going for the trick where you purposefully basically run out your stamina, which is kind of risky in a lot of cases. Emma Spade then going for the neutral wall jump strat there. But yeah, causing a lot of delay between the two players. And Nero going over to turn off VSync. Not really gonna
Oh,
affect
interesting.
anything. It's really just a racer preference there. It doesn't affect whether or not legality or anything.
Yeah, basically it helps reduce input lag, and it's been apparent. We definitely have seen that happen. Actually, I make sure to have it off as well. We are moving into old site now. Um, a quick thing to point at right now, because they're both runners appear to be in the exact same spot, but for Celeste we use IGT, the in-game timer. So while they're on the same screens, or where they were, um, there's about a 7 to 8 second difference between the two of them. We will attempt to try to get a sync a little bit later as we hit in the summit if needed, um, just so that you guys have a better idea on where exactly everybody's at. Oh, looks like our restreamer is coming through in the clutch right now.
Right, and along with the in-game timer differences, there's also a thing to look into within the actual chapter timer as well that is just below on the top left. You can see along with the full file time, there is the chapter time, which shows how long they've been spending in this chapter, which is nice to know. Not necessarily going to affect syncing-wise, but it does allow people to understand like how well they're doing in this chapter specifically.
Yeah, especially if we do get another IGT split in difference here, because it does happen. People have different computers, loading screens are faster on some other people. That gives us a better idea if someone's catching up or not. And also Evan running, I don't know what that was right there. He kind of just hit that coin and was waiting for the block a little too close to comfort for my tastes. So we haven't seen that battle and chase causing a lot of problems in these races. Speaking of which, also Awake too. Nero looking like he's not having too much of a problem. For Awake, as you see, the terrain is very uneven, and so you have to just really be careful to navigate it. And we have corner boosts and everything else too. So you want to keep it real tight and get those that extra momentum off those corner boosts, but also don't bonk into them. Don't lose your dash. Definitely don't hit those springs. Both runners handle it pretty well. All right, so now we're entering resort here. Resort is where the game is going to start to. We're going to start seeing that difference between the runners here. Resort is significantly longer than the first two chapters. We have these dust bunnies that are on a cycle, and we're going to have our first big trick coming up in the game towards the end of the level here. Nito taking a death, or Neto, I'm sorry. Again, like I said, it's a little early for me, from so I'm still trying to get all my gears going. I'm
Right,
not running on.
we did get some complaints before from some people about us mispronouncing the Japanese players' names in this competition. So we are trying to get it right now. So bear with us as we adjust to that. But either way, Naruto is in the lead right now, getting to the first key, or second key rather. I know my keys.
And now he's going through the labyrinth portion of Huge Mess. Again, Madeline's got little to no room here to navigate, so it can be a little crazy. But Neto is actually just sailed through that really quickly. Evansfight's going to make his attempt here as well. I feel like that this area has recently just gotten optimized, like this screen in particular. I'm seeing a lot of new strats, some runners coming out, most notably this tail end here. Like,
Right.
you're going to see that wall bounce.
Right, I do think like there are a lot more cycle skips that have come in this particular like part of Big Mess, like just in Big Mess in general, that I feel like if Naruto is going to be more risky, this is where it's going to start to happen, because there are certainly quite a bit cycle skips, especially in the second section here of Big Mess that we're getting into now, where he could go for them and potentially just be really risky.
Yeah, speaking of which, Neto going for that ultra strat in that room. We saw Blackbeard do that yesterday as well. So I think we might see more runners kind of opting for that, because it definitely is a little faster. It's definitely a little crazier because you're kind of just blindly flying in as those dust bunnies at the bottom.
Yep,
Yeah,
and here we go. Yeah, this was the section that I'm really talking about. You come into this screen, you can, yep, do that corner boost.
Oh my.
Didn't quite get the best corner boost, but still it made it work out. And then this screen with another cycle skip coming in, not doing it. There is a wall bounce to do that screen a bit faster, and then actually went like almost like 2 cycles slower than what even like the non-risky strat. So
Yeah, and now we're seeing Evansfight going. He was going for the traditional strat there too. I have not seen that corner boost from Neto screen right in the beginning of Towels.
I had been seeing it a couple times from TGH and Flajuri in some runs recently.
Okay.
So it is existing, but it's very difficult. And but if you do it right, you basically, that screen doesn't even exist to you.
Yeah, I'm going to take note on that. I might have to see if someone can get a clip of that, because that was looking real crispy. All right, so we're coming into demo here. Neto's going to line up here. Missing it on the first try. Missing on the second. I don't think he's getting 2 pixels here. There's the third one.
There it is.
There
Yeah, he got the setup correctly that time, and there was able to get in there.
So I mentioned the 2 pixels. We have a visual cue there, and actually Evansfight's going to set it up. Basically, you want to go 2 pixels up from as soon as you grab that wall. Look at that. Oh my gosh, that was smooth. Evan's saving some time there. But yeah, there's a 2 pixel, like you want to climb up 2 pixels, and you have a visual cue there. And you set it up so you do a full jump, and then as you're about to come down, you're going to demo. And demo is pressing down and dash at the same time, and in a span of 4 frames, you're going to input another direction. What that does is Madeline's going to maintain that crouching hitbox as she moves through her dash, and she's able to fly through a 4 pixel gap that's available in that kind of setup on those hazards there. Now I say hazards because it is possible to do that in other chapters as well, but it's not as optimal as it is there.
Yeah, basically I mean, it can kind of be seen here with these dust bunnies, how they're kind of grouped up into little little balls just are next to each other, and they're not a solid wall. So, and those balls happen to be about actually happen to be exactly 4 pixels apart from each other, and we can shrink our hitbox down to 4 pixels using the demo dash. So you're able to get through it if you are exactly at the right pixel.
All right, now because Neto took a lot of time to get set up, and Evans got that first try. Also, Neto running into a death on Oshiro. We're about a second apart right now.
Yeah,
This
both
has gotten a
runners.
lot closer.
Yeah, Nero entering chapter 4 at 8:30, and Evansfight entering at 8:31. So, I mean, that is not going to be as the difference now. The difference now is a bit further, or as things are, minor things are happening and causing lead changes. So it's actually kind of hard to tell who's in the lead currently. It still appears to be Nero, just by a little bit though.
I mean, we have a good sync on IGT right now. So, but it is about a half screen. And again, Neto has he's got. It's really going to come down to optimizing each screen as best as they can. Obviously, from a PB perspective, Neto is going to have a slight advantage here, but we've been seeing. I feel like we've been seeing a lot more deaths on Neto screen versus Evan's screen. So if Evan is able to keep this course tried and true, keep it very clean, he could still be on pace here. Because
Right, Nero getting that ultra, and Evansfight. Sorry about that. Evansfight getting a bit of a slower strat there. Sorry.
yeah, actually with that strat in particular, Evansfight's match against Chai Kitty, he actually ran into a big hang up on that room. And talking to him in the interview, ooh, he got that nice skip. Let's go. I'm sorry, he cut me off with that movement.
Yeah,
there.
that's a newer strat that I'm not familiar with that one on that screen.
Yeah. For that, I'll go into that real quick here. But Evansfight was having a very difficult time with that auto scroll skip, and he basically said that he got to that room and he just forgot how to do it, and he took a few tries and then had to go and do practice for it again. So it looks like he was opting to just go for a more safer strat. But for that skip there, so runners are doing a reverse hyper in the previous screen to get enough momentum to bypass that first bubble. It's a really good strat. It's kind of hard. Not everybody's going for it, but I respect the play from Evans, trying to pull out all the stops here to stay on pace with Neto.
Oh, Nero
Yeah,
on the first snowball screen here, taking a death. It just got a bit of a weird pathing. Didn't go the route that they're used to, and then the snowball was on a weird cycle. But is still able to keep that lead. Just by about a couple screens here. Evans now taking a death there.
Yeah, he knew he wasn't going to make it to that block in time. He didn't get as much distance as he wanted from his. I think he was trying to go for an ultra there. But oh, okay. I don't know what that was. I think he didn't grab the wall there. But now they're about 2 screens apart. Neto's going to clock in. I think it was an 11:20.
That is what it looked like. Yep, 11:20.7. And we're getting about an 11:33, 32 from.
Yeah, so again, I'll just optimize movement. I don't think I saw too many deaths on Evan's screen until cliff face. So, but when you see the optimized movement from Neto's side, just kind of like carving back into that lead. Yeah, exiting that bubble a little too early there.
Yeah, I've found that myself as well. People now trying to go for like straight up into the next bubble. It's a lot harder than it looks. Instead of just waiting to pass it, which was the original strat. You pass it and then do an diagonal up left dash into the red bubble. Because I guess the other red bubble's a bit off screen if you're trying to do a straight up one. And very good yeet from Nero there.
Yeah, he's gotten into that room so quick I didn't even get a chance to see it. So we're going for tape grab here.
Oh, Evansfight going for the yeet. Wasn't able to get the momentum off the block and just opts to just keep going, not even trying for it again. Some people do try for it again, but it actually does save time to just keep going, not try to set it up.
Yeah, I think if you mess it up and you proceed to move forward, it's as if you were just going through the room as intended. So there's not really too much of a time loss. At least if you're not getting yeet like myself. But I missed Neto's tape grab, unfortunately. Evans is looking to get about a 123 here. Okay, 124.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Chapter 5 is a little bit of a notorious place where FC and I'm both being the people who are responsible for entering the stats on the Celeste stats page, which we will not link because it is currently in progress right now from last week's stuff. Getting that Bubs drop there. But yeah, both of us wanting to see those tenths of a second, but in Chapter 5, it is typical that they don't show us that ever, both in A and B in some cases.
Yeah. For chapter 5, both runners will just hit return to map. We don't see the chapter screen here. Oh
Yeah,
no, Evans missing Bubs. He's gonna have to try to go for this again.
yeah, in
Now,
5A it makes sense because it's set and you can leave and then go straight into Chapter 5B from there. But in 5B, oh, missing the Bubs drop.
oh no,
But yeah,
that's
in
another one.
5B, after you get the heart, you can do a similar thing where once you get the heart, it will unlock 6A. So you can actually return to map in the same way that you would for getting the cassette. So some people will do that, and it does the same problem for us. But it also, you could just keep there and go to the end of chapter screen, and then we'll be able to see tenth of a second. So it's like, maybe they'll do it, maybe they don't.
Yeah, so we've seen that Evans was having a little bit of trouble there with his Bubs drop. That trick. So basically, you prevent Madeline from jumping up to the upper ledge, and it sounds easy on paper, but I think you have. It's like I think you have like a 3-frame window to perform the jump, but you also only have 2 frames to press the jump button and release it. So unfortunately, if you mess up on that, it is about a 10-second loss. So it is probably the make or break trick that we have right now in the run. And I have seen leads like lost and leads gain based on whether or not they're getting it first try or not. And they're actually finishing up here at a 2:23. That's a really good time.
And here we see Nero going to the return to map. And Evansfight having a bit of trouble here with the Seekers. Oh, yeah, just having to do some different strategies. Usually you do a double, like, use the shockwave twice from there. But Evansfight having to deal with some other strats there. Nero now starting up Chapter 6, as Evans is finishing up 5B.
He's got a few more screens to go on Evans' section. He's got this Seeker Gauntlet. This has also been an area that has been a little dicey with some runners. I've definitely had to hold my breath a few times, but Evans makes it look very simple. And now he's going to be coming out of here. We've got Neto also going into Lake and trying to make his way out here.
Yeah, watching the Seeker Gauntlet actually distracted me from whether or not Nero got the lake skip. So, unfortunately, we'll not be able to know that for this round.
I think, based on his time, he might have gotten it. But we can always go back to the tape later.
Right, and Restreamer attempting to do a sync while the two players are in different chapters, which is kind of a not going to work out too well here, as it will, because see, now we got the
Oh yeah,
difference here.
that's okay.
That's just what happens, but it's fine.
It's all good. But yeah, so we'll
the
attempt to get
in-game timer pauses in between chapters, so you typically want to try to sync things during chapters, not when the players are in two different ones. But anyway, we are still both in chapter 6. Evansfight getting through, got the lake skip, and as Nero is going through the hollows, get that good bumper strap.
So now Neto is about to get into the ravine portion. He actually has a different. Well, okay, getting ahead of myself here, but he usually goes for a different strat here versus what other runners do. Because there's 3 intended shortcuts. He actually only gets that one. And I think the way that he has it set it up, the way that he has it set up, I feel like he doesn't really lose any time there. But it is a very tight approach. Alright, now Neto getting ready for the battle and boost here as Evans is continuing to make his way through hollows. It looked like Neto got it. Sorry, like I said, I'm still trying to wake up. I yawned, and the next thing you know, this fight's already started.
Right. Maybe you should actually switch out that water for that coffee.
Yeah, but you know, I have to brew the coffee and then, you know, grab my cream and sugar.
Oh my god,
Oh,
college problems over here. Like,
no, lack. I mean, well, if I got up earlier, then you know we might have been able to pull this off. But I feel like that by the time I would have had everything set up, we would be like halfway through race 2.
that is fine. We are still just going through the battle line fight as Evan's about to go into it. Gonna go into the developer intended holds as well. And we'll see if he, yep, going for that feather skip over there from Narrow. Not the fastest feather skip there. Is faster than just going for the feather.
Yeah, I like that strat a lot. It looks really cool.
I also like to skip the feather on this screen, but no one does it. It just looks cool, but it doesn't save any time. I just like doing it. That's aside the point, doesn't matter too much. So yeah, we are gonna get a sync here. It is fine here. Battle and boost coming up for the Evansfight, and gets it very.
Now, Nero about to get into the second round of the battle and fight. You notice on Evan's screen as we bonk into battle and these blocks are starting to fall. She's gonna change the game up here and just have them start falling immediately on Neto's screen. And we actually need to rely on these to navigate through some of those sections, just like right here. But this section is a lot shorter, but the rooms themselves are definitely longer than the first round. So deaths in these, especially towards the end here, can be pretty traumatic. Most notably in this screen that Neto's on, there's a bumper at the bottom. We've seen runners kind of not line up correctly here, and actually slam into those spikes, and that's like the absolute worst place that you want to die at in that room.
Yeah, I can see how that could be very frustrating if that happens to people. That bumper as well could also cause some interesting results, probably.
Yeah, the old strat before, we would just bypass that bumper altogether and just kind of go over and, you know, shoot down and be about our business. Runners have found out that actually you can do an extended bumper boost off of there, which as you hit the bumper, you're going to hold the opposite direction and it'll like give you a lot more distance. They do that, and they actually, since they have their hyper momentum, they can ultra off of that and save time. But it is a little risky. It's kind of tough. I have not yet been able to do it. I just keep flying into the spikes when I try to go for it. But it does save a lot of time, a little more. So, all right. So we got Neto getting his summit on the way as Evansfight now about halfway through round 2 with battle in here. So a summit, it's basically like a recap of the entire game. This is the real mountain climb right now. We have 2 dashes, and we're going to utilize both of those to get through each of these screens. As you'll notice, there's a lot more open space, a lot more, you know, kind of like of a playground, so to speak, for Madeline to move about. And you're going to see a lot more ultras and just a lot of cool strats.
And Evan is about to leave here from the final chapter 6 here going on, just in the final room.
Right, and so now each section also is divided up by these meters, which is an homage to the Celeste Classic game that Matt and Noel worked on during a game jam. A little trivia for you guys out there in Streamland.
Yeah, you can actually find that game within this game.
Yep, and I think is it work where if you find the game, it's available in the front end when you start the game up, or is it there already? I'm not 100% sure.
I believe you actually have to find it within the where it is hidden within the chapter, and then it will be unavailable to you on the main menu.
Oh, okay.
From there, like you actually have to find that it exists, and then from there, it'll be there for you forever.
All right, Nero is blaring through this 1000. I've never seen someone ultra out of that before. Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Can someone clip that? Because I'm trying to take that strat home with me tonight. Because that was crispy. Oh my gosh, I was not ready.
Yeah, both of us being runners, we do actually take notes a lot of the time. On me, unfortunately, at that point where I don't really take strats down, I more just try not to die, because that is my goal right now, to get to a better time.
Yeah, I'm trying to optimize every screen I can, and so any little bit I will take.
Right, when you're at the level that these players are at, you don't care too much about the deaths because you're already not dying as much, and so you actually have to rely on finding those little spots that are gonna save you those seconds.
I'm gonna need another clip of that too for that for that triple ultra room. I feel like that Nero is slowly fine-tuning that room because he flew through that ridiculously fast. I felt like he was only in the triple ultra room for about 4 seconds, and that's unheard of. Right. I need to see the replay of that.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the triple ultra room has kind of transformed into a quadruple ultra room. I'm not entirely sure on that, but that might be true.
I feel like Nero went and got 5 there because I've seen I'm not even joking. I've seen the quad ultra that he went for. And that was in TGH versus Nero in the any percent tournament before, but like he went way too fast, like way too fast. So I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm so hung up on it because like Madeline just looked like she was ready to dash all the way down to the center of the earth, but it just looked like that he did 4 ultras in that first section and just lined himself up with that dash crystal and was able to get, to continue on. I'll have to look back at it because, like I said, he was going way too fast. But also, yeah, Evan actually. Oh my gosh, we got some corner bops. Oof, able to adjust there. I've kind of given Evan the nickname of the Improv King. We've seen a lot of situations where like Evan's, for example, he got corner bop there, lost Madeline's momentum, and usually that's going to result in a death in a lot of situations. But Evans has this like natural talent of just kind of improving a little bit and getting himself set up so that he can get out of those situations.
Right, and we got the players now with the in-game timers pretty much in sync. We do have the players seeing here are about a section apart now. So Nero with that pretty definite lead right now, but it's still possible. Nero showing that it's possible as he dies here, very on a screen that most people don't die on at this point.
Oh no, these snowballs are giving Evans a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, the only snowball screen in the entire summit, but it's still a very annoying screen because of.
Yeah, especially if you get off cycle. They have a route set up so you can kind of get away, without having to deal with him, but you have to make sure you hit everything. So I don't believe that Neto is on a PB pace right now. But He is getting ready for his 3000 ascent as Evansfight is smashing his way through 2000 now, having a very much cleaner second half of 2000. All right, Neto is now in 3000 here. This is basically a complete vertical ascent, and we have these markers there. Generally they like to count them down as you go along. If you want to, you're more than welcome to.
Right. And Nero's stats on the stat page we actually can look at because he is fully updated, and his PB is actually from the last race he had, which was a 29:14. So, at least it's better than what is currently on Speedrun.com before. I'm not sure if it has been updated quite yet. I haven't looked at the Celeste leaderboard lately for Nero. But that is his PB, if I'm not mistaken. And this isn't quite looking to be there, but it could be close.
Yeah, it should be pretty close here, depending. Also, speaking of which, on the speedrun.com leaderboards, we'll take a quick shout out to Scrublord for entering the sub 30 club. Either last night or today, that run was verified. So
nice. I was not aware of that. That's
yeah,
cool to see.
So now
always good to see some more sub 30s.
Yeah, and right now the actually, hold on, I might be mistaken. Bye also got a sub 32. Sub 30 also. Yeah, it's a little bit different there. Hold on. I think I might have just goofed up on my news there. Give me 1 second, because now it's gonna bug me if I don't confirm this.
You look into that. I'll just keep watching this as Neto has just passed flag 8, going into flag 7, as Evansfight is entering flag 28. So this is a pretty still definitively from Neto. Probably going to be the first one to finish here, provided he doesn't have a huge mess up in these final flags here. Still definitely looking at these strategies though, as we do see some different things going on. Neto's still taking a bit of slower paths, but it is in some ways playing safer right now. Just because of this. I believe he left the call pretty much right when he knew that he was in the lead, so that he kind of just is at this point focusing on this lead that he now has and trying to maintain it.
And he's gonna clock in, finishing up there. It looks to be a 29:24, so sub 30 pace there. And also to go back to what I was talking about, I was right. Scrublord did get a sub 30. He has a 29:48 right now, and I saw Babai's name there, thinking that it was new, but that sub 30 was like 2 months ago, so I was like, oh, whoops. But yeah, so now top 10 is all sub 30. That's a pretty big deal, considering how with Celeste there was this idea that sub 30 was literally impossible, and it's great to see that Teach kind of like cracked that open, and now like the floodgates have just like flown right open, and many runners are now getting into that milestone.
Right, and now we're also trying, at least in the case of 2 runners in particular, TGH and Fledervi, trying to hit that 27 mark. So
That is true.
We are even trying to get sub, not sub 29, that has already been achieved, but sub 28. So
yeah,
that is the next goal in the Celeste leaderboards.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe Fledervi's some of best. He actually has it. He just needs to string that run together and make it work. So it's gonna be very exciting. It really is up to anybody. I'm not sure who's gonna actually get it first.
I definitely called before we were in the era of TGH, where TGH had the world record and was maintaining it for basically the entirety of last year. And then just at the end, around October, when we were doing the speed gaming tournament, and then Flederby took the world record in a race against TGH. That solidified the start of the war between TGH and Flederby. And it's a friendly war, of course, because we are a speedrunning community. But it is still a fight, no less, between those two players to keep that world record.
Yeah, that actually is going to be a very hype league race when that comes about.
So true.
So like,
Those two players are so close, and it has been back and forth on the leaderboards for world record in the past month.
yeah, and also even before that, I mean, we had the GSA showcase race between TGH, Fledervy, and I believe it was M Sushi. I'm not 100% sure. Um, we actually saw Fledervy take a huge PB from that. And then also fast forward to the speed gaming tournament when they met up in the winners bracket. Fledervy actually sent TGH to the lower bracket there. They did not meet up in the GSA any percent tournament. And then at the grand finals of the speed gaming tournament, we saw Fledervy maintain his pace and was able to win the entire tournament. So it's going to be very interesting to see those two clash as they move through the league here. It's going to be super hype. I am definitely going to try to get on comps for that.
Right. So we are now moving into game 2. Nero was able to squeak it out, get the sub 30, while Evansfight, I believe, was at a 31-minute time. Or it might have been a 30-minute time. We got a bit distracted by talking about the very fun to talk about Fledervy versus TGH battle that is happening at the top of the leaderboards.
Yeah, and there are a few other rivalries, quote unquote, that have been happening. I'll discuss those
Absolutely.
probably a little bit later on here, possibly in race 3. We'll see. We'll see if I'm feeling a little tellerish.
Right, and as I will be the one to mainly show to talk about as we go into the prologue here. Obviously, not much to talk about as it has even gotten shortened by the 15 more seconds, thanks to the cutscene skip that is right there. But of course, we'll be into chapter 1. So yeah, we should be having some hype stuff going on. I feel like how's chat feeling today going on with this going into the second race. Nero up 1 right now. Evansfight trying to get the other point here. It is a 1st to 2, but we do all 3 races. Oh, and Evan is taking a death here, as Nero has been taking the lead here now. But Evan's certainly not out of the water. Certainly not out of the woods yet. They both have to go through a very technical first chapter. The chapter with that only being a minute is still actually probably one of the densest tricks of like any chapter. Just each screen constantly just trick after trick happens. And Nara is going to be the first one to finish, getting that 120. No, sorry, 101. I can't read stuff. It's definitely a 101, while Evan is getting a 109 for chapter 1. Ooh, Nero losing the dash, tried to improv it there a bit, but was ended up failing that, and now not able to get inside the dream block outside of that with the cutscene skip little trick that you're able to do with positioning. And yeah, if you're starting to speedrun this game, Chapter 1 is actually a pretty annoying chapter to try to get near people's ILs around that 1 minute range. Typically, myself, I stick around the 1.5 minute range. Just cause like if you're getting that at most, like it's fine. Don't worry about it too much. It is such a small time save compared to other chapters that you shouldn't worry about it too much. You should really concentrate on the other chapters. But it is a very dense chapter where things could end up saving you so much, like saving you those seconds and getting you from 1:30 to 1 minute. Oh, and Nero having a bit of trouble on this long last battle line screen here. Battle line chase sequence screen. First having a death and now missing the first coin. So yeah, you dash just after collecting the coin for the faster strat there, but Nero actually ending up missing it. So it has allowed Evan to catch up a little bit as he is now just about half a screen away now. And Nero now entering the awake section. Ooh, Evan's having a bit of trouble on the screen on the area before awake section, which actually has pretty much the exact same terrain, by the way. It's just there are a few more dream blocks here and there. And Nero going to be the first one out of here. Going to be getting a time, but it is a time. I always try to see the exact chapter time, not the in-game timer time. My mistakes. But entering chapter 3, we are going to be seeing 3:40 in-game timer to 3:38 in-game timer. So it actually could be a possibility that Evan is ahead of FC right now. If of Nero right now, if the in-game timer is to be believed.
Yeah,
So
it looked like. Sorry, I'm back.
Oh, hi.
It looked like.
Hi, FC.
Yeah. It looks like Evans might be ahead by 3 seconds right now, just based off of that cutscene with the Shiro. So, but we'll see. We do have demo coming up. Actually, Neto had a little bit of a hang up in race 1 on demo dash. So, as we saw, Evans was able to take the lead coming out of chapter 3. So we shall see. And we can check here as we wait for this key to unlock for a time here. 4:47 for Neto. It's gonna look like he might have carved into this lead a little bit, and maybe he has overtaken Evans. Yeah, it's about a second, half a second ish. So it's pretty close.
Yeah, Big Mess certainly being like the screen itself certainly being a spot that actually could slow Evans down a bit. It is actually showing that as he is not doing certain tricks, and it is causing him to lose a bit of time. And now, yeah, he is now behind Nero.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to go for that reverse hyper into Ultra, coming down that last little like staircase there, but wasn't able to get the height that he needed to get his Ultra off. Then another hang up there too. Now we as commentators, we definitely will be pointing out deaths here and there, but one of the big things too is actually just lack of movement or hang ups there. Like Evans had a little bonk there, not getting what he wanted. Those small nuances that occur in the run definitely add up. And I mean, over the entire course of the run, that can actually be equivalent to a few deaths as well. So that's why you'll see a few instances where like someone might finish with 15 deaths, but they'll actually have a faster time than someone that has like 11 unintentional deaths, just because like those little hangups can happen.
And there's that cycle skip from Nero. just barely getting underneath that dust bunny. It is always like a very impressive end screen to see done correctly, because you really do see like people getting in through by the skin of their teeth just between that last dust bunny.
I just realized that that saying is very inaccurate because your teeth don't have skin.
Okay, so moving on.
Yeah,
To
I just pointed, it's like, wait a minute, I don't know why I just all of a sudden wanted to think about that, like from a
no,
literal.
no, it's totally fine. Nero able to get the first try demo dash there. Good job. But yeah, it's totally fine to talk about the expressions that we have in our lives. But that's why they're expressions, you know? And these
Yeah,
little idioms that are definitely inaccurate because they're idioms. That's how it works. And Evansfight having a little bit of trouble, is able to get through, and then goes into the other checkpoint for some reason.
yeah, that was interesting. All right, Nitto making his way through Oshiro right now. Evan's getting started. Now, we saw a death on Neto's screen in the final screen of Oshiro, so we'll see what happens here. And actually, I noticed that most runners, when they die in Oshiro, case in point, you see how Neto takes a pause. He doesn't immediately starts moving. He just kind of waits. So I think maybe he is... No, okay, I was gonna say maybe he figured out how to reset the cycle, but that didn't seem to be the case there. That's the second time that Neto has fallen victim to the final screen of Shiro, but also having a very clean like runabout on the death cycle as well too. So
Right, gonna be
he
having
is
about
prepared.
right, and Nero I'm seeing here is having about a 20-second lead going into chapter 4. So that's definitely going to be an impact there.
Yeah, his chapter 4 was very solid in race 1. So we'll see. Again, I feel that on a screen-to-screen basis, Golden Ridge is arguably one of the most technical areas in the game. Every screen has like a significantly different route to save time. Like for that coin room, intentionally you're supposed to climb up the wall and jump over and all this other stuff. We kind of just hop through. That shrine room that Neto was in, you have a spike jump here. We have this wall bounces here. We've got more wall bounces here, just bypassing gimmicks in the game. Like screen to screen, there's just, optimal strats are so... Just basically you're just doing all kinds of tricks. We got that ultra there, and missing any of those is like immediate time loss. And then if you just kind of get on tilt, it's a disaster as you keep going.
Right, and if you notice here, it's actually this chapter in general has turned into a very short chapter. It has become like pretty much in the same leagues as chapter 1 and 2, whereas like the
Mm-hmm.
rest of the chapters are like, you can just be like, yeah, these are long chapters where they, like chapter 3 is longer than chapter 1 and 2 combined. Meanwhile, chapter 4 now is basically just another chapter 1 or another chapter 2 because of how much stuff we have taken out of it.
Yeah, it's nuts. I think the times are... I got speedrun.com right in front of me. I can pull the leaderboard up. It's like, okay, it's like 240. I don't know if we've gotten to 230 yet. I'm not sure. Oh, Madeline wanted to play in the snow there, and I don't know. I'm not sure why he just fell straight down. He could have landed and got his dash back and get back into and finish that screen there. So that was a little interesting.
Yeah, it was definitely a case of Nero not being as good at improv as Evan has shown to be.
Yeah. So yeah, Ridge. We're looking at like the world record right now is 235, and I think that is probably about as high as we're gonna get it.
Yeah,
Because
that's
I know,
insane.
yeah, because that run actually It's actually Scrub run, and he does both auto scroller skips. So he does the first one, which he was going for over the weekend.
Are you talking about the TAS auto scroller skip?
Yes,
I
the one where
thought that the one where you go around the spike thing that you activate with a coin.
yeah, I believe he goes for that too. I think it's both of them.
God.
Yeah,
Why?
because ILs, baby, that's why. But I don't know if we'll see that in an 80% run anytime soon, because it is, like I said, if you mess that up, that's a huge time loss. And so,
Yeah, for a long time that was thought of as being a TAS only strat. But like I was thinking, I have seen it, I'm like, it could be possible, but it's very risky. So it's certainly like a strategy just seems so unnecessary.
I don't know if
Oh,
chat's gonna
Nero
see this or not.
missing the
Missing
yeet.
the but Evans had a super sick save on that second to last screen of Golden Ridge. To hop into the green bubble, and instead of getting the angle, the down left dash, he went straight down and somehow was able to, one, recognize that he missed the input, and two, recover in that spot, because there's not a lot of room to come back from that. So again, Evans showcasing his improv king abilities here.
Right, and with the wind working against you there, you probably also have even less time to react than you normally would.
Yeah, because the ledge is like there's a little ledge there, so it's a little easy to get a bonk out of that. That was nuts. All right, so now we got Neto in 5B as Evans is getting ready for his yeet. Oh man.
Yeah, neither player able to get a yeet this time.
Yeah, I missed the other one. I'm trying to yell a yeet on comms today, so hopefully we'll get one in race 3. That trick in particular, it's tough.
Yeah.
I'm 1 in 112
Nice.
right now. I've gotten it one time. Yeah, I got it once.
Nero is able to get the Bubs drop on the first try.
Oh, that's very important. Saving that time there. But yeah, once I got the yeet, I was like, okay, no, clipping this like right now, because I'm not gonna get it again, and I haven't. In fact, I should look at it.
It is certainly a trick where I tried to pick it up. I like tried to get in a call with the sub 40 player who's done yeet, and I was like, can you just try to help me out here? And we went forward and spent half an hour of me never getting the yeet. So it was great.
Yeah, it's just that second part. You don't really get to see where you're jumping, like that's because Madeline's moving so quick. Also, I love this strat of the that coin room strat from Neto, using a wall bounce to basically get set up so that Seeker hits that coin every time. It looks like Evans got Bubs on first try as well. Yeah, his timer is not grayed out right now, so making good progress here. Definitely a lot better from his first go around.
Right, and now entering the Theo section. Gonna be going through this first Theo room and then into the Seeker Gauntlet.
Coming through with these ultra strats. Very nice. It's almost like, so, we talk, okay. Theo was like, nope, I'm dying.
Yeah, so not getting quite the strat that Nero expected there. You actually want to go around that first springboard, or partially around, and then you throw it like right as you're above the springboard, I believe, and that's how you can get him onto the platform. But not quite getting it, and so was a little bit past it, and Theo just went past the platform and died. And if Theo dies, you die. So you don't want that. This is an escort mission.
Alright, so Evans now, actually, speaking of which, getting in his Theo fight. I was going to talk about how for Neto's Seeker Gauntlet room, his line that he has through each of these is done so well that it looks like as if this is like a scripted cutscene. It looked like it was remarkable
Ooh,
the
Nero
way that he had
failing
it
the
set up.
lake skip, going for a bit of a pause in the second setup there, making sure that he had the right setup there for the to line it up.
And Evans on the home stretch here. It's looking like he's gonna get like a 237 ish. Okay, man, I'm good being off by like 1 second.
Cool. Consistently inconsistent.
Yeah, I should just like take my initial time and then just go 1 second up. Now, if we were on like the Price is Right, I'd be like super solid. So there's that. All right, so now Evan's getting his reflection going. Neto flying through hollows, literally with these ultra strats there.
Ooh, Evan also messing up on the lake skip first try, and he's now just getting a bit tripped up, taking multiple tries here. Down on the fourth attempt, able to get it that time.
So with Lake Skip, I've noticed that it looked like he was doing his vertical dash a little too soon, and I think that's one of the big hangups with that trick. You want to try to, you basically are trying to wait as long as possible to get that nice pixel buffer that they implemented, so you can wall bounce off of that.
Cool
So
corner boost just done by Nero. I'm sorry.
Okay. I missed it unfortunately because I was watching Evans bonk some Kevins.
Yeah, entering that long feather room just before did a corner boost by doing a diagonal upwards dash into the ledge that's there before the screen transition. And he just went flying right into the feather, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and again, like I feel like corner boosts have been around for quite some time, but I still feel that there's like room to find some more to optimize the run. I mean, like there's actually a corner boost in City in Chasm, that first screen where you do the reverse hyper over the spikes. You can actually, I've seen, I think one runner went for this, not in League, but in a different run, a different tournament. They corner boosted off of that, and I think that's a task strat, but it's definitely doable. So it's just, consistency is kind of a thing, and that strat does not look very consistent.
Right, and Evan is going in the lower bumper room right now. Did have a bit of a mess up, but gets the extended bump in the second time, and is now doing a bit of pathing that I should take note of because I also take the lower paths.
Yeah, the top route is faster, but it's definitely a little more technical. Like to get the optimization out of it, you're gonna need to hit a bumper, dash like as soon as you get your dash back, you dash back into it so you can basically go through the collision of the bumper itself and then pop out on the other side and just go for it. Actually, with my times, I actually still do bottom route on reflection.
Yeah, it's just something that it's a lot less like you're not gonna die as often, I would feel.
Yeah.
In bottom route as top route if you're trying to learn that stuff. So, I just figured, let's just stick with bottom route. It seems easier to learn. So, and really, I think it's like optimally they're like less of a second apart. So, it's really not that big of a deal to go one over the other.
Yeah, and runners for like you and I, we can find another place to save that second.
Yeah.
I think once you get to like the top like top 5, that's when you're like, oh yeah, we're probably gonna have to go for that strat like moving forward. But for like top 50 and further down, or like let me say sub 35 or oh my gosh, I am jumbling these words. Hold on. If you have like a time from like 35 to an hour. Like I wouldn't really worry about it because you can save that second somewhere else.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, Evansfight going for that featherless strat in that room too. It's so good. That's like one of my favorite strats. And if you guys think that looks familiar, that was the strat that was used in the a couple of the GSA trailers that we've had. It's a very cool trick. All right, so we got Nero in the final screen here. He's gonna get out yet again. Now, I was talking about that quadruple ultra room in Summit for Nero. I'm definitely gonna be keeping my eyes on that because I'm gonna see if he has turned that into a. I don't know.
Quintuple.
Thank you. I really.
The word is quintuple.
Listen. This is how like I'm still trying to wake up because I definitely was about to drop like cinco as if it was Spanish.
It's okay. That would work too.
Yeah, it would have worked too. But I was like,
you know what? I actually like the Cinco hyper room better than the quintuple hyper room. Let's just stick to Spanish words for now on that screen. It's the Tres hyper room. It's the Quattro hyper room. It's the Cinco hyper room.
Yeah, I think we'll have the opportunity if he has turned that into a 5 ultra room. I might have to go for the Cinco Ultra because it sounds a lot better than quintuple.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I could be wrong.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like that sounds odder than saying quintuple. We sound too much of a nerd using the word quintuple.
Yeah, I mean it would. I get because we don't say quadruple, we just say quad. Like we just kind of keep it real short and simple. It's a nice little, just slides off. It's got a nice rhythm to it. Quad ultra, right? Versus quadruple ultra. I mean, I guess if you were to, kind of add a little flair to it, it'll work out. But I don't know. Yeah. We'll see.
Doesn't matter too much as we are with the 500-meter section for Nero, as Evan has just finished out chapter. Oh, and missing a coin from Nero, having to go a little bit back and not able to improv it correctly.
Wow, that second dash into that spring. That was filled with anger.
Yeah.
And just kind of like flew into it. I like that.
Well, because he also used a corner boost. So.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I have it. You can kind of see like runners' confidence based on how they control Madeline. I feel like that you can also see, or like kind of sense the runner's emotion just based on how they're like having Madeline move the room. So like I could see that. Like, look at this room right here on the screen in 1000. You could see like he's just like angry, very aggressively attacking these dream blocks. It's looking fantastic here. Evansfight now coming into 500 as well. Oh, missing the corner boost there from Nero screen.
Oh, and I saw the hyper that you were talking about that you weren't aware of before. That is an interesting hyper. Oh, and
taking a death.
Missing the last dream hyper on this screen. And so now you see what happens when you miss a dream hyper. You just diagonally dash downward into whatever is below you. In most cases, it is the abyss of nothingness, a bottomless pit that you die in. But in some cases, it could also just be spikes. Both cases, you die.
All right, we are in 1500 on Nero screen. I'm about to grab the magnifying glass, and I'm going to carefully inspect this room that's coming up here.
Right, turning both of our captures into full screen mode here, so that we can both see what the heck is about to happen. Provided he does it well. We're leading up to this, and there's a possibility that Nero completely messes this up.
Yeah, he did not. I don't think he got it that time.
Yeah, that was still a good room, able to get either a trace or a quattro there.
We got Evans now in his dream block portion here. Nice movement there.
Yeah, Evan opting to not really do too many dream hypers there. They are risky, so it doesn't save too much time. And did he just? He did.
What did he do?
That last that last Dream Hyper, he missed the Dream Hyper, and then while he was going diagonally downward, he did a diagonal upward dash to save himself.
Oh yeah. See, like I thought, you know, like I saw it and I was like, oh, okay, that's intended or whatever. And then now that you've kind of like pointed it out, I'm like, yeah, he kind of recovered from that.
Yeah, that was a
like,
save.
It definitely was a save, but yeah. So he fooled me. So I was, you know,
Yeah, I've definitely seen that before. I've seen it in like other runners as well, but definitely there is a case where if you run this game yourself, you definitely catch more saves that players are doing, or are doing more backups than a like someone who doesn't run this game sees. Like you definitely catch them more often.
but also I feel like that's just like his ability to just like that improvisation, because like it didn't even look like a save to me. I was like, oh, okay, it's just kind of, you know, it's cool, just kind of went that way. But no, you're right, that was a missed hyper. And that actually was a great save too, because that was right at the end.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that would have been a big.
that would have been like a severe time loss if he did not get that. Alright, so we got Neto going into 2500 here. We're gonna see the screen getting that strat. That strat is really cool too. Getting his key skip as well. As Evans starts an auto scroller. I don't think we're gonna see anybody try to skip that auto scroller block, because I feel like you would not even save time if you were to go for that. Actually, you wouldn't, because, you know, Madeline is not that quick going vertically than horizontally without
Right.
using gimmicks and whatnot. Again, there's another save right there. Like, he did not get over to Madeline in time and was able to recover. In this room in particular, you don't want to miss any of that stuff. There's not really a safe place to land once you get going.
Yeah, and silly me over here looking at Neto's screen, who is once again on PB pace, so I'm just like,
Oh, you're right.
I am trying to like hold my breath as he is very close to a potential PB, so things happen.
Now, he did post in chat after the first race. He had a 234.92 3000. So, with that being said, yeah, I think that he is actually, he put lol at the end, so I'm not even sure if that was
Yeah,
like
that's
a
not a
lol,
good
like,
time.
yeah, I wasn't sure. Now that I think about it, I'm like, oh wait, it's like,
Yeah, he was not happy with his 3,000 meters in the last run, is what he was saying. And now Nero having some pretty good encounters right now in these flags, and is looking to get a better time. So yeah, the PB pace is definitely here. And I'm sure Nero is feeling that as well.
yeah, you can kind of, I can, like I said, that movement that I was talking about, he is definitely feeling real confident right now. And again, for those wondering, at least on speedrun.com, Neto's PB is listed as a 29:15. He actually beat that in a race. What was it, 29:12? Is that what we had?
I'll go back to the stats page as that is up to date. I was the one who recorded it. Yeah, it is a 29:14.
Yeah, I think Nero's knows that he is close to being on pace here, because he's being a lot more aggressive now. Doing some strats that I haven't seen, mainly just simple stuff like doing a diagonal dash versus a vertical dash. Yeah, this one, he is on PB pace. I think he's gonna be really close here.
Yeah, this is looking to be cut it very close. Yeah, not quite world record pace. World record is kind of a bit further ahead than you know, just around the sub 29 mark.
Yeah, and then but we have Evans getting into his downdraft too. So we got 12 seconds. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
the
don't think
point
he's
is
gonna
not
get it now.
looking likely, but it definitely was getting very close. It's going to be very close to what his PB was.
Yeah, I think he's gonna end up walking away from this at a 29-23 is what I'm gonna go with.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with 29-24. Hey!
Oh my gosh, just a couple frames. He had a bonk.
Every time 1 second ahead of whatever you guess.
And the worst part is, I actually was gonna go with the 22, and then I added a second to that. I can't get a break today.
No, it is the universe every time. No, it's just like, oh, you said that time? No, it is a second more.
That's not fair, universe. Why you gotta do me dirty like that? All right, well, we got Evans having to force a retry on Flag 9. Flag 9 is deceptively difficult, at least for an optimized strat. There's a little, there's a lot of threading of needles going on there. Most notably, those first two dashes. Once you get those, it's a little bit easier. But I've seen a lot of runners just kind of overextend their dash and take a death there. But now Evans quickly getting through this last couple of flags here. He's on number 4, heading into 3. He gets the flag. Now, we haven't really mentioned this. You do have the quote-unquote option of skipping a checkpoint flag. See, now he gets that one there too. We do skip a few of them, most notably flag number 8. It's just kind of out of the way. We bypass that so we can save time because we found ways to get to 7 instead of getting that one. The risk that you run into, of course, is if you die, you don't get that checkpoint. So it's similar to like the ravine section in Reflection. If you don't get the checkpoint, you have to go all the way back to the top, right? So we have some runners actually will skip flag number 3 and flag number 2. And I have seen a death on the way to 1, which sent them all the way back to 4. And they were kind of like in disbelief. Like Madeline didn't even move. Once they respawn, they're just like, wait, what? How did I get here? But we've got Evansfight clocking in at a 31:05. And so Nitto is going to take the set. But again, we have one more race. Evans could come out of nowhere and snag up one more point here. Also, I should point out, if time permitted, Evans is available for an interview. So we'll see if we can get him on the mic and ask him a few questions. But I mean, it's looking good so far.
Yeah, referring to the schedule, I don't think that's going to be too popular.
Are we cutting it kind of close? I mean, we did have, a little bit of spaghetti, a little bit of bonkers nonsense going on.
I mean, there is a break between M64 and Mario Kart Double Dash, so there is the possibility of us making SM64 even later, but I don't think Simply would want that.
Yeah, I think we're actually
Yeah, Simply's like,
probably
no,
not gonna
don't do that to me.
we will be opting out on the interview today, unfortunately. I mean, it happens, It's fine. I have already had a great interview with Evans from our previous race. All right, so we're gonna get this one going here very shortly. Also, in case people in chat are wondering why these file names are so wonky, because I have seen this appear every now and then. This is a cheat. What is the word that I'm looking for? Thank you. It's basically there so that we don't have runners trying to splice their runs together, or a task spot thing, or any other sort that are kind of going in.
Yeah, FC over here is still waking up.
Look, I'm gonna be real with all y'all. I did not go to sleep until keep in mind, this is Pacific Standard Time, so I think I went to sleep at 7 a.m.
What is wrong with you?
No, my sleeping schedule is like, it's gonna take a lot to fix.
That is to say the least. That is like what you slept for like 4 hours maybe?
Yeah, I've been kind of going on a 4-hour sleep tip
That
for
is
these
not
11
good.
o'clock matches. Nah, I know. I know. I might take a nap, but then I'm also like, if I take a nap, I could oversleep, and then because I'm commentating the last match of the evening
Are you
as
wait?
well.
I have a question here. Are you planning on making your way to Pace?
I am.
So
I am.
you got your tickets? You used did you use that link that's on the exclamation point tickets over there?
I have not gotten my ticket yet, but I am definitely planning on it. Basically my plan of attack is similar to what I did for AGDQ. I'm going to get um my plane ticket first, first and foremost, because that's definitely the most expensive thing that I have to deal with, especially going from West Coast to East Coast. But no, I'm gonna get my ticket. Also, um, you know, there's gonna be at door registration too. So if you don't have enough money to get the ticket, you can go up until indoor, or go walk up to Xanadu Games and just be like, "Hey, I'm here for the event." I'm like, "All right, cool." Pay for the ticket, and boom, there you go, and you're in there. But yeah, it's gonna be a very exciting event. It's gonna be happening. Ooh, I'm gonna be put on.
April.
Yeah, I'm gonna even go further and not use the 1 second rule here. I'm gonna say April 25th through the 28th. I can pull the calendar up.
Through
Hold on.
the wait, what was that last date?
28th.
8th? No, you're wrong. Well, actually, no, you're right. It is 25 to 28. I think 29 because I'm gonna leave the next day
Yeah.
because it's gonna be a jam-packed thing, and I will not be wanting to leave the area the same night. I will be too tired to try to travel.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is gonna be mad hype, folks. So Pace is going to be the location where all of the leagues will be having their finals going off. And again, we're talking about Celeste here, but we have there's many other leagues that are going on. The GSA leagues right now are covering 4 games. We have Celeste, Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario 64, and Mario Kart Double Dash. And out of that, and you can correct me if I'm mistaken here, but we have a total of 5 divisions going on with those. So we have Celeste any percent, we have Mario Kart Double Dash Time Trials, we have Super Mario Odyssey any percent, Super Mario 64 16 stars, and if I'm not mistaken, Super Mario 64 70 stars with 2 divisions. Is that correct?
That is correct as to what leagues we have currently running. However, at Pace itself, only 3 of those will be shown. Uh,
Okay.
so it's going to be I'm looking at it myself. Top it's going to be the top 4 from Celeste, and then it's going to be the top 4 from the 70 Star League Division 1 for SM64, and for SMO it's going to be the top 4 of the 90% League. So
Oh,
it is
yeah.
just going to be those 3. However, I'm sure that the other categories will be showcased in some way.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then also too, we're gonna be showcasing a bunch of other speed runs and races as well. I believe submissions will be opening. Is it next week?
Yeah, it's coming up very
Yeah, it's
soon.
coming up hot. So, um,
Yeah, once again,
I'm looking to see.
I had dropped that link in the chat. All the details can be found there. I believe it's also at a shorter link. I mean, this one specifically brings you to the tweet of the announcement, but smash.gg/pace2019 is the exact link.
Ooh, Evan's missing his dash there, and got caught up by a battle in. Sorry. Yeah, we're using this opportunity to kind of to hype up Pace and everything else about it because again, chapters 1 and 2, it's pretty cut and dry. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I saw Evan threading that needle there. He must have took a note from Psyched, who also did the same thing yesterday.
Yeah, when you're going back and forth around getting those 3 coins, there is a lot of ways that you can either have to dodge battle line or moving so fast that you don't even have to care about battle line. But it is very risky, as that if you mess up at all, you then have to run into battle line and react properly.
So yeah, so with Pace again, um, there's gonna be a lot going on, and also that stream, if I'm like the stream's gonna be hot. It is going to be Speedrun that we're going to be streaming from as well. Um, I'm looking forward to it, man. I am really, really excited to see this
Yeah,
take off.
I still gotta get my plans together for it, but I am definitely excited. I still need to get my ticket as well. The cap is pretty high, so I am not too worried about like not securing a spot right now. But I still am hopeful in some ways that we get a lot of people getting tickets. So in that way, I'm like, I should get it early, hoping that we get a high amount of people who want to go.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it sounds like a lot of people that aren't in the league are definitely interested. Most notably, since we're talking about, we have the opportunities to have other races from other games and showcase runs as well. So I know for the other speed game that I run Greece as well. There's been a few people that were talking about trying to do races for that, which actually would be really interesting to see. Not to get too far off topic with it, but I was talking about, I actually would love to see an ARB race, to be quite honest with you. A Celeste ARB race would be super hype. Because it's like, the big thing with that is, we don't really talk about it much on any percent, but we have those strawberry collectibles, and ARB is short for all red berries. When you have a berry, you have 9 frames. If you're on a safe ground for 9 frames, it'll collect. So you kind of run into this situation where it's like, okay, do I want to stop what I'm doing and collect this berry, or do I want to keep going? Because if you die while holding a berry, you're going to lose it. And it was briefly discussed in the Discord when one of the answers was like, well, you're in a race, so you're going to want to collect it. And I'm just like, but do I? Or do I want to just like go ham and try to make that opportunity, especially like if you're behind, you know what I mean? I don't know, like I don't think there's been an ARB race as far as I know, so I'm hoping to see that.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun to see. But we do have Nero going through the second part of Big Mess as Evansfight is about to start the second part. And once again, we do actually have a bit of timer difference here, so it is actually hard to tell who is in the lead. Let me try to get a bit of a good marker for a second.
It does look like Nero's in. He's got a nice, comfortable lead here.
Right.
We've seen Evansfight take a few bonks there in Old Site, and then also just trying to recover and recuperate. So we got Nero clocking it at a 6:11 ish on that towel switch.
Yeah, I'd give it about a at least a 20-second difference going on between the two players.
Yeah. Evans missing. See, again, there's that backup right there. He missed the opportunity to get a good cycle out of that, and was like, well, let me just have this backup on deck. But now we're moving into demo again, and Nero has, he got out on second try in race number 2. So let's see, first try, let's go. So that's actually gonna, that puts pressure on Evans. He's going to have to get this demo on first try, or else he's gonna, that lead is just gonna just get further extended out. Oh, ooh. Was that intended? Did you see that?
I did not. I apologize.
Okay, so like Nero's going through that first screen, he actually bonked off of Bashiro's head as he got right to the end of the screen. So I was curious. I was like, was he trying to set up an ultra there? But I don't, that next screen, I don't know what an ultra would even do. Also, it looks like Evans did get his demo on first try, so good on him. Now, again, this final screen of Oshiro has been giving Nero some problems. So far, so good. He should be in the home stretch. Yeah, and he's out.
Yeah, again, the pogs in chat.
I wonder if we can come up with a demo emote. But the only thing I can think of would be a cassette tape that says demo on it. Which actually would work.
We're getting our mixtapes out there? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, we have a tape in the game and a demo tape. So maybe, I don't know,
Hmm.
just an idea there.
FC trying to throw out his mixtape on the streets of New York City,
Oh
giving them
no,
to anyone that will buy it.
they would throw that back in my face. Let me tell you. I
I
do not.
mean, that's okay, because the trick is, and this is a lot of what New York City, if you are in New York City, I'm nearby it, so I certainly know of it myself, but there is the constant thing of, if someone is holding a mixtape, never grab it. Do not take it from their hands to look at it, because that's when they ask you for the money. Because at that point, you have taken it from them. They want the money now.
Oh
So that's the
wow.
trick. That is the trick that they go for. So do not take it to look at it. Don't even acknowledge them. I'm sorry, but that is the New Yorker way. If you see someone begging for money, typically you just don't acknowledge it. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of homeless people, but like it's just not trustworthy a lot of time.
Yeah, I know. Musicians out in my area, usually they just kind of approach. They actually it's a nice little business model, if I say so myself. They'll have their music actually playing,
Yeah,
and
yeah. If there's a reformer, the rule is there at least. If and I me being a musician myself, the rule is if you stop for a musician, leave them a little bit of money, because like you gave them a bit of your time, you showed that you appreciated them. That's you actually having to give them money. That is generally the rule that most musicians go by. If you stopped for someone, give them just like even like a couple cents, like a couple 50 cents if you want,
yeah,
because
I
you
mean,
have
it's
given
almost
them the attention.
it's like if you stop
Obviously they
by
deserve
like
something.
a channel on Twitch, and if you're enjoying the content, you can just drop a follow, drop a sub if you want to. So if you are just stopping by on Speedrun for Celeste or any other game and you're enjoying the content, be sure to follow them, as we have pretty much we go through. They're live all week. They have like a kind of a set schedule, and we have a lot of games going on. Also, I seen in chat, simply please buy my mixtape. Listen, if you can give me a link to that,
Yeah,
I
people.
actually will.
Yeah,
I'm considering
simply
it.
about to drop his SoundCloud on the chat.
Trying to get that SoundCloud clout. Let's go. But yeah, no, I do not have the flow like Simply does. At least in a freestyle sense. I think that if I had like a ghostwriter or something, I can definitely get a nice little rhythm going. But if you want me to come off top,
Yeah,
no.
exactly. I don't think I don't think I can freestyle anything, but yeah, I also like I said before, I do have the musician roots, so I do actually have the rhythm flowing through me. I know my beats, so I definitely
Yeah.
could potentially do something. But no, I'm not freestyling anything. But it doesn't matter too much. We are now in 5A for Nero. Sorry, if you wanted to say something more about mixtapes, go for it.
I was gonna say, like, I don't know, maybe I'll come crazy and have the freestyle rap battle against Simply at Pace, not on stream or anything else like that. Cause no. But I know my friends and I we would do it at a couple tournaments for like fighting games, and it was just like having a good time, being goofy. Oh, he said he's down. Oh my gosh, what did I do? I sprung I sprung the bear trap. See, it's hard though, because like Simply, I've seen the videos, man. You're more on like the current like kind of beats and flows and stuff like that. I would have to have a beat from like back in the early '90s, something that I'm familiar with, because
Doesn't
like there's
matter too much, but can I just point out? I'm sorry, we are
no. Let's go ahead.
way distracted, but Nero just got a 110 5A,
Oh, nice.
so that is hot.
Yeah, that's actually really good. Um, because ideally for 5A, we're looking. You want to be in like 112 to 115 for a very nice time. Actually, TGH got a 109 in his race, one of his races yesterday.
Hey, you being an SM64 commentator simply do not. I was just listening to a rerun the other day about.
You're trying to pay us right now.
Yeah, just this is just more so much fast food stuff that happened on the SM64 stuff. So stuff
Yeah,
happened.
no. I mean, from a commentator standpoint, and I have brought this up before. Once we get to like the third race, particularly with Celeste, from a game mechanic and game wise perspective, we don't have a lot of filler left to talk about. So, you know, because I mean, you don't want to hear us talking about like this is how you do a demo dash again for the 5,000th time. You know what I mean? Or like battle and chase. You have to. We don't want to keep repeating those mechanics by the time we get into game 3. So, I've been actually kind of thinking of other things to do that filler for when we have exceptional runs going on. I've talked about commentary tips. I've talked about speedrun tips. We've been talking about dropping mixtapes. Just kind of keep it a little live here.
Yeah,
we're
definitely got to add that one to the list.
Yeah.
But I do have to say
nice.
that FC, you kind of missed your opportunity to say yeet. We missed both of the yeets.
Oh, we sure did. I'm just gonna have to have someone make a beat with a good yeet sample in there, and then just make the video where it's just that clip of yeet happening over and over again. It'd be pretty dope. Oh no, Evans, he's missing his bubs.
That is not good. And we got Nero going through the gauntlet now.
Oh no.
And yeah,
a little bit of tilting here. Like we saw, like he was kind of jumping up and down prior to starting. There he gets it there, but like this is going to be a very hard fight for him to come back from, because Evans is now just getting out of 5B. I was gonna actually say something over the mic about more mixtapes, but I'm actually going to I'm actually not going to do that. I'm gonna just type it out instead, not in chat, but like in our call right here. But
okay.
We are moving into reflect.
Yeah, Nero going for the leg skip, gets it in the first try, and Evan is going through. The mirror is gonna be entering the seeker sections. Okay, yeah, we're having a lot of fun here today on the Celeste commentary side. There is a lot of tricks going on around us as well, though, so we do want to keep it talking.
Oh, okay, Evans did not grab the wall
Oh! Had some improv going on, was not able to keep it going, as was able to be, ended up being killed by that seeker there. So, yeah, now kind of going on through normally.
We're gonna see the ultra strat here. Oh, getting bonked out. That strat's a lot. It's tough. He's gonna get it, but like Nero now flying through hollows yet again. Well, we got the secret gauntlet room. Oh, This is where a lot of the improv comes into play with him.
Yes, very true. I'm gonna be making a good beat from that. I'm just gonna loop that together from those grunts that you just made. I'm sure that'll make a hot beat that I could put behind for one of my demos.
I think you could, just get a nice bass on the back of that, a little bit of hi-hat. You can work it out.
Yeah. So Evan has ended out the 5B and moving on to 6A. And my Galaxy S9 just heard me say 5B, and man, they thought I said Bixby. So it opened up Bixby and was like, what do you want? I don't want anything from you.
I'm seeing a message in chat. They feel as most people say yeet too forcefully. The original is pretty chill. I don't know how the original goes. To be quite honest with you, I just emulate how it was said in that Vine. I'm not gonna say the lines from the Vine because they're little NSFW. Yeah, not safe. Yeah, I had to make sure I had that acronym correctly. But that's how I approach it when I go for my yeet. In fact, actually, sorry, I put a little more emphasis on the T when I'm normally speaking it, but
Yeet.
yep. I mean, like, could we do it? Can you even? Is there such a thing as a chill yeet?
I don't know,
You know
but
what I
I
mean?
say it a lot of times as well because it does come up in SMO as well. We got Yeats and Kobe's in SMO, so
Oh, nice.
so
I mean,
I
technically,
that is there as well.
that Seeker room, that Seeker Gauntlet room, that last one where you have to throw Theo into that floor of spikes. I'm surprised that we haven't started doing that for a Celeste commentator.
Yes, there is a difference between a Yeet and a Kobe. They actually do have differences. Kobe has not gone out of rotation of expressions to say for basketball shots. There are two different things there. It is accuracy versus distance, I believe, is the differences between those two. Kobe is for getting the turnip, the golden turnip into the pot, throwing that in there
okay.
in the beginning of Luncheon Kingdom. And then Yeet specifically is throwing the turnip so that it is in the perfect spot for you to do a turnip clip without having to throw the turnip again to get it in a better spot. So like potentially just essentially getting it to the right spot exactly. And that's a bit of a longer distance, so that's a Yeet. Where the shorter distance getting into the pot, that's a Kobe. It's just a little knowledge.
Oh snap! I got my answer in the chat. In our chat, let's go. I mean, we're talking about Odyssey and a bunch of other games too. Even though Celeste is going on right now, but for real, like, check these other games out. I mean, I'm a Celeste runner myself. I played Odyssey casually. I started to tune in and actually watch some of these Odyssey races from the league, and whoo, man, most notably, like, especially from the tournament with that one. You remember that race where it was what? I'm bad with the names, so I'm not gonna do it. But we have a deep dive video about it with Limcube talking over it. But where they were tied on the same frame.
Oh, we're talking about the frame tied race. That was a good race.
Yeah, that was absolutely bonkers. And then I've actually been watching a lot of 16
And not
star
even that
as
specific
well.
race as well. Like that was a best of 3, I believe, and that whole best of 3 was crazy because that was
Yeah.
that was the finals or like somewhere in the bracket of our last season that we had before we started the leagues. So
Even
there was a best of.
Mario Kart Double Dash too. Like, yesterday's Mario Kart Double Dash race was absolutely crazy. I'm talking, it was tied up 6-6, final race down to the final lap. And those guys are masters of their craft. I had
Yeah,
never
we
played
have.
Double Dash before, so I don't know all the like tech or anything like that. But man, I was on the edge of my seat watching that race. So if you're just here for Celeste, that's great. We appreciate you, but at the same time, check out some of these other races that are coming up. If you like this caliber of high level play just from Celeste, we got a whole bunch more of that coming with other games.
Right, and it's not too hard to understand a lot of the time. We've got timers, and you can just, if you've seen one speedrun, you can kind of start to get a bunch of other stuff in that. Even though you don't know necessarily what part comes after another, you could see, especially in a race, okay, this guy got to that part first before the second guy got to it, so he is ahead. And you can also see through timers and stuff. And of course, as commentators here, of course, we're saying Narrow is ahead of Evansfight. As you can see, Evansfight at the end of Chapter 6, where Narrow has just started up Summit. The commentators help to keep that in play, so that certainly we do have good commentators here who allow you to start to understand a bit with what's going on in the races, even if you don't know the game as well.
Yeah, and each game respectively has like a fantastic group of people I don't know all of them, but I'll throw some shouts real quick. Shouts to Simply, shouts to Petey. I think that's how you say his name. Shouts to
Pit.
Limcube, D Dangerous. Oh, it's just Pit. Okay,
I
see,
think it's just
my
pity.
bad.
Or
I
pity.
gotta get out a little more and get these names down. But no, and I don't know the Double Dash group that well, but like just put on fantastic performances. Also, like within Celeste too. Personally, I actually really enjoy the Flare Bear and Sushi combo that we have. They do a fantastic job as well. So, and then Artie Walsh. I mean, there's so many people. Like all the commentators are very top notch, and they just really do a great job painting a picture.
We do have also some good duos in SMO, and I'm in there too. So I mean, I'm just giving myself some clout here. But
I
there
see
are
you, though.
there are some duos going on there, and I'm not the greatest with SMO. I'll admit that my duos are a bit lacking, but I do have to say I love it when me and Dangers come out to play and are commentating together. We actually have some pretty good dynamic going on there, so I'm hoping to get one of those again.
Yeah, and then like Limcube and Dangerous too. I don't know. I really like Limcube's commentary. I'm sorry. Like
That is fine.
I will like. I have no problem like quote unquote fangirling out. I just feel like he's like got great presentation and everything else, and like that's something that I'm trying to like build up myself. I hope to be on that same level. And then on the flip side too, we got two different types of commentators here. We got that nice play-by-play, and then Simply's really good at just like being off the cuff and like keeping it really casual, but also being very informative. I think that both approaches
I kind
are
of get his
great.
expressions going on. He can like throw out that like saying things are toasty and hot and just like having it flow, and then like talking about them serving breakfast with the toast, and I'm just like, how did you get here?
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
I'm like, you are like, he is a machine with coming up with keeping his analogies, just keeping going. Yeah, losing your mind on the mic. It is so true. I see it all the time. I'm just like watching you with SM64, and I'm just like, how did you get here? You are off topic, but simultaneously on topic, and I don't know how you're doing it.
It's quite the talent, I can tell you that much. All right, so we got Nero heading into
This
2000
time, here. And yeah,
see how this room is.
We have missed the possibility of seeing if Nero went for the quadruple or the quattro or the cinco hypers.
Yeah.
Topic adjacent. That is actually a very good term for it. Thank you, Omega.
I know Evan's getting into 1000 here too. And we're getting towards the end of this race here, but like I said, we've got more. We're gonna have some hot action coming up with more races. I don't have the schedule on hand, so I'm not exactly sure which game is coming up next. But okay. And is it 16 or 70 star?
God damn it, I didn't know that part. It is 70 star Division 2. Proto Man 5 versus Retro Runs. I just pulled up the schedule.
Okay. It's gonna be a spicy one, if I say so myself. Speaking of spicy, Evans kind of run into a little bit of problem in this room. I've seen a couple of transition wipes. I think that's what they're called, which is also the death animation, basically. Oh, speaking of which, yep, right there.
One. And it's actually it's pretty artsy as well to see those transition wipes. There's a different one for each chapter. So
there is.
There is.
Oh, I just realized, since we're talking about that, going into the new sections, they played the ones from the previous chapter. It's like we got into 1500 and it was the keyhole transition. I learned something. Yeah. Let's go.
Okay, so yeah, I actually didn't realize that either, because I get annoyed when chapter 7 does happen. But yeah, depending on what section of chapter 7 you die in, it is a callback transition.
Oh no, it's when you enter. It's like when we see Evansfight enter 2000, we're gonna see that animation of like the wind kind of blowing through as we get ready. It was really short. I can't believe I never noticed that. And then, but the death animation is that one there with like the mountain.
Yeah, it's the mountain. It's the mountain shape for this whole chapter. Yeah.
I wonder what 3000s is gonna look like. Now I'm curious. Now I'm like really intrigued. trying to see what's going on here. Yeah, it's just 3,000 is the mountain.
It's the mountain.
And then it should work on Evansfight. It's gonna be the wind where it's like swipes left to right. Yeah. Wow.
That is smooth. Oh my, the details of this game. I love you. I love this game.
Yeah.
That wasn't to FC. That was to Celeste. This game's amazing.
But yeah, we're getting in this home stretch here. You know what? Well, Nero, please, come on. No, just take the death. Okay. I was gonna say,
I don't know if you can even neutral jump that.
Is Nero on PB pace here?
With that neutral jumps going on there attempts, yeah, it's looking like, he's looking at potentially he might have been on it, and then at this point he's just too fatigued. We've gone, I've said it before. The third race is where the runners start to get more fatigued. Especially at this hot, you wouldn't think that because people reset all the time, people go through and do runs all the time, but it seems like because they're at this point where they're trying to be so competitive, 3 races in a row is why it becomes so, it actually does cause a bit of fatigue. So certainly in the third race, people tend to slip up a bit more.
Yeah, I have seen that as well. Like the play gets a little more loose. We see a little more mistakes. And again, if you were to break down Celeste on a screen-to-screen basis, it's over 600 screens in just the regular playthrough potentially. So multiply that by 3, and then trying to do each of these strats and being execution on a high level and all that other stuff. It really is draining, especially again in a race setting, because you have to think about how far is the other person, this, that, and the other. So it's tough. I mean, if you really don't think so, I've tried to do 3 runs in a row when I'm trying to practice, and by that 3rd run I'm like, I need to take an extended break before I jump back into this game.
It becomes the case even I know I've heard it from Vlad while watching him stream. He says he'll do a full run and then he'll be like, I hate that I have to take a 20-minute break after every run, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because you get so much adrenaline pumping from trying to do this game so quickly. You're running so quickly through the game that adrenaline just goes through you, and literal adrenal, your adrenal glands actually start releasing stuff and giving you that literal adrenaline. And then once you're done with the run, your body doesn't know what to do with it, so you have to calm yourself down again. And so that can cause some problems, and you actually do have to take a bit of a rest between runs.
All right, so we got Nero clocking in at 28:51 here. Excellent time. Yeah, as you're saying too, it's
that's a PB, dude.
Oh, you're right.
Why are you just saying that so casually?
I'm just casually talking about how Nero gets a sub 29. That's a juicy PB too.
That is not a world record.
No, it's not a world record.
At this point is in the 28:07s, I think. So not even close to world records. But that is a very good time for Nero. Well done.
Fantastic time. Yeah, that's number 4 for our sub 29 club.
Yeah, well done.
My bad, y'all. I definitely was just no, it's just totally fine. He's just got 28:51.
It's a sub 29 over here.
I got super crossed up for some reason.
What are you saying?
You know what it was? For some reason, I don't know what happened, but I literally just took a minute off of his PB. I was like, oh yeah, Nero's PB is 28:15. He's not gonna make it. It's fine. Which is ironic because at the beginning of the 3000, I'm like, is he on PB pace? So my bad. Well, we got Evansfight finishing up here too. Unfortunately, he is not on PB pace, but that is quite all right. So, but no, huge congrats to Neto with the PB, and that's a nice one too. Looks to be almost 20 seconds. And again,
like we said, it was a 29:14. That was done in his last race. So we've gotten 2 PBs in a row, pretty much by Nero. The first one being pretty much just about a second PB from Nero. You know, it was a 29:15 that's on the leaderboards currently to the 29:14. But now we're at a 28:51 for Nero, and that is certainly something that if he was like being a bit apprehensive about posting the last PB because, you know, like it was only a second, that's not a huge deal. But now getting a sub 29, I would expect Nero to be like, I'm submitting this.
Yeah, I am hoping that he submits that because, like, come on, it's dude, that's super buff. But all right, we got Evansfight here coming up towards the end. He's gonna jump to flag 3 here. Unfortunately, we do not have enough time for an interview, so we're gonna go ahead and start doing some closing outs real quick here. So GG's to both Nero and Evans, who will be finishing up shortly. Also, thank you, Troy, for the fantastic commentary. I had a great time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, dude. We gotta, just a little bit better with the synergy. I feel we can get there, but we definitely can get our conversations going, and I love that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We have fun here in these commentaries.
All
Evan
right.
is.
He's gonna finish up, and so we're gonna go ahead and close this out. Again, don't go anywhere, folks, because we've got a 70-star Division 2 race against Proto Man 5 and Retro Runs. So I'm definitely gonna tune in.
Yeah,
so we'll see you over there soon.
Coming up.